I always ask people this question: what music do you listen to when you work on a website, or do you even listen to music? And the reason is I'm always curious about my selection. It can go from anything from Enya, Billy Joel, Bee Gees, Backstreet Boys, yes, to The Offspring, to Linkin Park. And this morning I'm listening to the German group called Modern Talking and their very first album. Yeah, I don't know what that says about me, but I go from the classical all the way to the jazz, to the metal. It seems that there's a little bit of everything that inspires me. And I was just thinking that's very appropriate because we're looking at a timeline, and all the music I'm talking about to me is sort of like a timeline. So I'm digressing. Anyway, let's get back to this video. Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor is a widget add-on pack with many widgets. Please look in the description below for an overview video about the Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor if you want to know what the entire pack is all about. In this video, in this tutorial, we'll be looking at the timeline widget. This is the thing that got me into add-ons for Elementor. I can tell you that. I saw this timeline Ultimate Add-on widget add-on and I was hooked. And that's where I started getting into add-ons. Like, what's going on out there, boys? So let me show you what is the timeline widget. Let's have a look at the example on the page of Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor. And you've seen this probably before. It's all the rage. All the developers are making this, and it's a matter of who can do it better. They all do more or less the same thing. They have a little date here, and you can have this bar, and these ones are all on the right side. And then you have this one, which is a content timeline, looks like this. You see different icons that you can change here. And then the next one that many of them are adding now, which I really like as well, is a post timeline. If you want to bring in posts, then you bring in them by date. You can sort them as well. A different way of displaying your posts. So let's have a quick look at this timeline widget from Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor. Type in timeline and then just simply drag it and drop it, baby. And this is how it looks. And all you need to do when you are working with this is that you go to timeline items and you will see each item here. You are familiar with how this setup works in Elementor. And if you click on the first one, you can change the date. You don't even have to use a date. You can change the heading and you can add content over here. And you can even work with dynamic content. And that is how the timeline content will display. And as you scroll down, you will see that this line will light up or bring in the color to show your progress of this. Your styling is done, of course, under styling, and to show you a little bit about that is you can bring the whole timeline to the left. I've actually didn't like this method, but I've started using it a lot lately by doing this. And let me just add a column, is that I will, especially on a corporate website, they will have the history in their background. I will put that in a timeline over here. And on the right here, I will have all the message and corporate data, like message from the, I almost said the emperor, but message from the chairman, message from the CEO. And then you can have these two different pieces of content running adjacent to each other. I found that works very nicely. You can also switch that around. Let's click here again on the timeline widget. Go back to styling and then put it on the right. And now your timeline will be on the right. So you can probably just drag it over into this column here. The next one you can also do is that if you put it back into the center, let me show you that, and let's delete this column. If you put it back into the center, you have also justification and alignment over your content. At the moment it is flushed. You can do it like this in the center and then to the right. But now you see what happened is that you just messed it all up. Because before I did that, so if I undo 1, 2, 3, you will see this one is flushed to the right, this one is flushed to the left. So before you go pressing on these content alignment buttons, be aware that they are actually aligned differently. If it's on the left, it's aligned to the right. If it's on the right, it's aligned to the left. But if you press here left, they will all go left. So Control Z to undo that. The next justification or alignment option that you have is what they refer to here as this little thing called the arrow. You can have that at the top. I actually like that quite a lot. Have it there at the top, and you can have it at the bottom, and then normal is there in the middle. Let's do a little bit something different before I continue with the styling. Let's go back to content. And this time for my source, I'm not going to use content source or custom source. I'm going to choose my posts that I've recently made for France. And you can see here we have those posts that they are loaded in by their dates and the times that they were published. Let's go back to styling now. And just before we go to styling, you have the normal query options, your categories, if you want to go with tags, how do you want to sort them, and how many posts do you want. And I just want to highlight again the excerpt length over here. To me, always an important feature that if I want to add more of that, I can add it over here. And there you see it increases. And if I want less, then I can reduce it. Very important because I've seen many people who have this option in their widgets and it does not work. Don't put something in a widget that doesn't work, people. This one works. So I just want to show you it works very well. Let's go back to styling, and I've showed you that. And then spacing works like this. The horizontal spacing is the space between the arrow here and this point over there. So you see that, and I can reduce it all the way. Vertical spacing is the distance between these two posts. I've mentioned it before. It would be nice if we can get that in a negative. You see, let me see, I've just typed in the -10 and that's it. It doesn't work. It may say -10, but it isn't -10. Ah, look at that. I can type it in. -150. Ha! Look at what I figured out. Genius! Yes, I've tried it in a previous add-on. It didn't work. It works in this one. I like this. This looks good. How it's going to look in mobile view, I'm not so sure about that. Oh no, mobile view, it's not going to work. But there, you've got vertical spacing, and it is, as you can see, responsive. So we can make that 0. Let's go back to desktop, and there it's back. Yay! Good feature. I like it. I can save a lot of space this way. Strange that the arrow didn't work, though. Arrow doesn't allow that, but if you type in -150, it's going to work. Nifty, brother. And okay, let's put that back at 0 so we can work with the defaults. And then you have heading bottom spacing. So that is the space here between the heading and the description. Also nice to have that flexibility. The timeline items is everything in the items, and it's all about the styling of the color. So to just give you an idea of the heading color and what these 3 buttons do. The heading color, let's put that on, let's put it on black, right? And then focused means as you go down the timeline, every time one of these little guys light up, it will focus on it. So let's go to focus and let's make the heading color red. So you see these ones already red, and then just down there it's still black, and as it comes over here it switches to the red color. And if you want to, you can also change the hover color. So now if I hover over it, it will change the color. It's a little bit going overboard. Clear that out. But that's up to you. That's what you can do with it. And you've got some other options here like the padding. I remove the background color like this. Take the background color out. And then for padding, type in 0. And then you will see it all stretches to the side of the container. I actually like this, except you will think this is not in the middle because you will want it to align to the image, but it's actually still aligned to this box item that you have over here. Let's style the last one over here, and that is what we call the connection. Oh yeah, there's one for dates. You can change the color for the dates here as well. Make it maybe bigger in this case. It's a little bit small, looks weird. And then for the connector, you can change the color here. So the gray, I think, is good enough. Leave the gray as that is. So go to focused. And then we make the line again red. And then the icon, that one over there, we're going to leave on white. This is for focused. And then for the background, also make that this maroon brick red. And now when we scroll down, you see this is how it works. Timeline. I like it. It's done very well. So this timeline does everything vertically the way it should be doing. And if you ever have a need for it, go check it out for this one at Ultimate Add-ons for Elementor. And you can follow the link in the description below. That is an affiliation link. And I have to say that every now and again because YouTube requires that. An affiliation link works like this, is that if you click on it, it registers, it comes from me. So in case you buy it, these guys will give me a percentage and say thank you for, well, promoting it and reviewing our product, putting it out there, making other people aware of it. But the good part is you won't be paying anything more. So, for me, this is not a big thing. I love this channel. I love these videos, and I love the feedback and the community that builds up. But it's always nice that if we can get more, support, then we can get more products and put it out there. So thank you for your support. Keep watching. This is JP with Websites for Beginners.